Thank you. Roll call, please, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Venus.
Present.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Here.
Ms. McDermott. Here. Mr. McGinley.
Present.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Perry.
Here.
Ms. Vogt. Mr. Thornton.
Here.
Mr. Urban.
Here.
Mr. Lovett.
Here.
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
10 of 11 present.
Thank you. All right, we do have one ceremonial proclamation. It is for the Agudas Israel Congregation Synagogue. Is there anybody from that organization here this evening? They couldn't make it? Okay, I'm just going to read it then, and we'll put it to the record. All right, whereas the Agudas Israel Congregation Synagogue is celebrating the momentous occasion of its 100th anniversary, and whereas the Agudas Israel Congregation was established in 1893, and as the congregation expanded, relocated to its current home at 77 North Pine Street in 1923. The Ark was erected in the sanctuary on May 20th, 1926. In 1946, Irving Town, then president of the congregation, stated, "We will all strive to go ever forward to hand over to our children a house of worship that shall extend brotherhood and goodwill in the worship of God and love our American way of life." The Agudas Israel Congregation has helped weave the fabric of Luzerne County history, culture, and society. Members of the Agudas Israel Congregation have attained success in the fields of arts, medicine, science, law, government, military service, and more. Over the years, those in leadership positions, as well as its members, have contributed tremendously to the growth and development of the Hazleton community. Now, therefore, we, Luzerne County Council, do hereby proclaim its gratitude and honor for all of the members of the Agudas Israel Congregation Synagogue who embody civic duty and community pride for Luzerne County on their 100th anniversary. Before we begin with the voting session agenda, Attorney Skeen, would you like to announce the executive sessions?
Yes, thank you. We had 6 matters in litigation that we had to discuss. We had counsel in from the insurance company representing us on 3 of the matters. We discussed our different opportunities, what we could do. And we had 2 additional matters that we would be bringing against other parties in order to recoup money that we had to spend as a result of somebody else's actions.
We had during the week.
Oh, and then the other executive session that we had last week or earlier this week.
It's Thursday.
Tuesday.
Oh, right. Then we received an update for everything that was happening at Children and Youth. We're trying to get our license back. Hopefully that is going to be happening very soon. We had a very positive meeting with the state. Children and Youth before this meeting, but we had to have an executive session to discuss the different options that we have before us and to discuss who would be working in there and managing.
All right, thank you. Any additions or deletions from the voting session agenda? Mr. Moore.
Commissioner, I'd like to suggest or make a motion that we move an item from the work session agenda over to the voting session tonight. It's on the work session agenda, item number 3, which reads discussion regarding resolution authorizing the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for road and bridge department repairs and maintenance projects. And that appears on the page 51 of the work session. We've discussed these funds for the road and bridge department several times in the past. And this would involve county council allocating $1 million of the SLFRF monies to the maintenance of Luzerne County roads and bridges. I'd like to add that onto the voting session agenda. We can make that,
We make it number 4.
item number 4
County manager.
under county manager.
Second, please. Amendment.
All right, Venus. Roll call, please, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry.
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Lovett.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to adopt the agenda with the addition.
Second, Love.
Roll call, Ms. Lawrence. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, agenda's adopted. Okay. All right, number one, motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to execute a lease.
Public
Oh, I
comment.
apologize. I'm sorry. Jumping ahead here. I apologize. All right, public comment. We have two slips. Mark Rabo.
Thank you. Mark Rabo, Hazleton. This is regarding items numbers 3 and 4 for the county council considering Mr. Thornton's amendment for the funding for the roads and bridges. I find this timely because I spoke at the last meeting regarding the funding through the LSA infrastructure. I asked a question, Mr. Vice Chair and members of council, if you recall, about, the memorandum of understanding. And I received word this morning from bond counsel that it is in the county council's court because of the fact that the financing is considered closed. So it behooves on council to, if they want to make any changes to any project, the project list for those funds to be utilized. So just wanted to make the council aware of that fact for the memorandum of understanding, because I was asking about that. And I just don't want any of the funds from the LSA infrastructure to be delayed. So that being said, I would hope that, the county roads that have been left for a long time that haven't been addressed will be addressed through the funding that council and the administration deems necessary, that these projects be utilized, or the money be utilized for those projects. As far as number 4 on the I guess it would be number 5 for the requiring municipalities and government entities for resolution. It's a sad commentary it had to come to this, because in the past, it would just be the municipality coming to council or to the commissioners and requesting the funds that they needed. And, it was all done in good faith. But, over the years, it's been abused somewhat, because municipalities have either, not given all the information, or have just decided to disregard any of the council members or commissioner or the county manager's needs for details on the items that were needed to fulfill the request. So I think it needs to happen. This resolution needs to happen. It needs to be passed. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rabo. Mr. Griffin?
Oh, non-agenda public comment?
Okay, all right, apologies. Anybody else for public comment in the audience? Anybody on the Zoom?
Yeah.
No hands. All right, seeing none, we'll move to the agenda. Number 1, motion to adopt a resolution authorizing.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I apologize.
Second below.
Sorry, I forgot my badge today.
It's one of those days.
It is. Okay, first and a second.
I second.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Minutes are adopted. Now we'll move to the agenda. Motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the county manager to execute a lease agreement amendment between Luzerne, Wyoming County Area Agency on Aging and Freeland Northside Area Senior Citizen Service Association for an active adult center located at 701 Chestnut Street, Freeland, PA.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Thornton, second by Terry. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Venus,
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch,
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, motion passes. Motion to adopt resolution approving the settlement of pending litigation in the matter of Leonard D. Omalecki Jr. versus Luzerne County. First, we need a motion to remove from the table.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McGinley, second by Ms. McDermott. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, now we need a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved. Second.
Scavenge, Venus. Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, motion passes. Number 3, motion to adopt the resolution reallocating the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds from Sweet Valley Road to Main Road.
Motion, Willoughby.
Second.
Thornton. Motion and second. Any-
Just real quick, I do want to thank Congressman Newsom for helping us out with getting some money for those roads. It's very appreciated.
And, sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Thornton.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I was confused on this motion today a little bit, my own fault. But Manager Crocamo, she straightened me out. And it seemed to me initially that we were just taking money away from Sweet Valley Road, abandoning that project and putting it over on Main Road, but that was absolutely not true. So both roads are gonna be
Both roads.
done, right? Okay.
Okay, we're gonna mark this down though. Let's get straight.
I'm a big man.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, and number 4, resolution authorizing the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for Road and Bridge Department repairs and maintenance projects. And this is for, this will be for Sweet Valley Road.
St. Mary's. St.
St.
Mary's.
Mary's, I apologize, so moved. Okay.
Second.
So, Mr. Urban,
Urban.
And I think Tim got it.
okay, second, Mr. McGinn. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, number 5, motion to adopt the resolution requiring municipalities and government entities and et al. To pass an appropriate resolution prior to making funding requests to Luzerne County.
So moved.
Thornton, Urban. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 6, motion to adopt the resolution declaring a vacancy on the Luzerne County Cares Commission due to the death of a member.
So moved. Second.
McGinley and roll call?
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Mr. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 7, nominations and appointments to authorities. First is Luzerne County Redevelopment Authority.
I move to open nomination.
Okay. Thornton and McDermott, or McGinley. Roll call.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, nominations are open.
I'd like to make a nomination for Mr. Vincent Fayette.
Is that Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Was it Mr. Vincent Fayette?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Any other, well, there's only one person. All right, motion to close nominations.
Urban added.
Okay. All right. And,
Second.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motions are closed. Now we need a
Motion to open.
resolution to appoint Mr. Fayette.
Motion.
Second. Venus Thornton.
Second by Thornton. All right, roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry.
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, now we have an appointment to the Northeastern PA Hospital and Education Authority. There are two open spots.
Motion to open nomination.
Second.
Second, Mr. McGinley. All in favor?
Aye.
Motions are open.
You could nominate those at the same time too.
There's 2 positions.
Yep.
I nominate Kathy Greenaway.
Nominate both or
You
just
can
one?
nominate both. You can nominate both.
I actually would like to nominate both Kathy Greenaway and Thomas McGrath.
Second by Mr. Mitchell.
Motion to close nominations.
Second. Wilovich, Venus. All right,
All in favor?
all in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, nominations are closed. All right, resolution to appoint Kathy Greenaway and Thomas McGrath.
So moved, just.
Okay, Kathy Greenaway first. Ms. McDermott,
Second,
second, Mr. Thornton. Roll call?
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry.
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Motion to appoint Tom McGrath.
Second, Wilovich.
McGinley, Wilovich. Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry.
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right, nominations of appointments to boards and commissions, Luzerne County Planning Commission,
Move to open.
Second.
Thornton Venus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nominations are open.
I'd like the motion to open for Patrick Coffey.
Second, Venus.
Motion closed.
Second, Irvin Thornton.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Nominations are closed. Resolution. Copy.
Motion, Venus.
Second, Venus. Urban. Roll call, Ms. Lawrence?
Mr. LaScavitch.
Yes.
Ms. McDermott. Yes. Mr. McGinley.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Perry.
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Mr. Urban. Mr. Wilovich.
Yes.
Mr. Venus.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes.
Unanimous.
All right. We now have public comment on non-agenda items. Mr. Griffin?
Greg Griffin, Swoyersville. We, the citizens, we want to thank the DA and the Drug Task Force. There's been some recent drug arrests, 8 charged by the Drug Task Force, fentanyl, methamphetamine. Also, the district attorney's prosecuting a drug dealer. A young lady was killed by a drug dealer, and the charge is a felony count of drug delivery resulting in death. And this is a recent charge that the courts are allowing. It's very costly for the taxpayers, but the DA should be commended for arresting drug dealers for supplying fentanyl that kills our citizens. We have to keep our eye on $1 million, I think we're getting a year from the opioid settlement. And it's coming in probably for every year for the next 20 years. And it's crucial. And we've discussed this at the meetings. I think there's going to be 12 members on the opioid settlement committee. And it's been discussed that I think most of you would prefer having 3 council members on the settlement committee, the opioid settlement committee. I think it's a good idea because there's a push to spend all the $1 million a year on treatment. And, you know, this district attorney has asked council for some of the opioid settlement money. And so he's doing a good job, but he needs more resources to do a better job. Ex-district attorney Salavanta said Hazleton is the gateway for fentanyl and heroin to enter Wyoming Valley. So there's a lot of work to be done. The district attorney needs some of this opioid settlement money. The 3 council members, if we could get them on this 12-member committee, I think you're all aware we're 3rd out of 67 counties. So we're 3rd in the state behind Philly and Allegheny County for young people dying from fentanyl. And Assistant District Attorney Dan Zola, he's the one that put this figure out there. We're 3rd. So we need more money from the drug settlement money for law enforcement. But of course, treatment is very crucial. It's just that we got to be careful. It's $1 million a year coming in. The citizens want to know where this money is going. And the council members are going to be there because they represent the public. And the council members are going to be able to tell everybody, hey, this is what we're doing with this $1 million. It's coming for 20 years. And there's another drug settlement coming, which is probably going to be another $1 million a year. The people want to know that this doesn't get sucked up into a big vacuum. And like, I'm here tonight because we're watching what's going to happen with this drug settlement committee. And I think the best way to do it is have elected members, council members on this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Mr. Rainbow?
Mark Rabo, Hazleton. First of all, I'd like to thank council for the appointments for the redevelopment authority and the planning commission. I know Mr. Fayok. He is a well-respected member of Hazleton City, and he is a former educator. He taught my siblings, and I'm sure Mr. Perry can attest to that. So I thank the council for a very admirable and honorable man to be picked for the redevelopment authority. That being said, I forgot to mention in my earlier public comment that while the memorandum of understanding is still executed, I want to remind council that the other bank besides Fidelity, which was awarded the financing, FNCB, withdrew itself 4 hours before the vote on the financing, which I still have a problem with, considering a board member of the redevelopment authority at the time is a member of the advisory board, which poses a conflict. So I don't know how council wants to proceed with that, but I was told by bond council, the ball's in your court, not in ours. So just wanted you guys to be made aware of that. And I wanted to add to what Mr. Griffith said about Hazleton being the gateway. It's not only for fentanyl, it's also now for illegal fireworks, illegal explosives, I should say, because 4 straight days of pineapple bombs and M80s going off in residential areas is not fun, is not a good 4th of July. And I think it would behoove not only Hazleton city officials, I know you guys don't get, I don't want to get you guys mired in Hazleton city stuff, but I think the district attorney and the county detectives would be able to find the vendors who are selling these illegal fireworks and explosives, considering it is federal law that prevents vendors from selling explosives to unlicensed individuals. And I do believe under state law, they're required to have, you know, when it comes to dynamite, which pineapple bombs and M80s are classified as dynamite, they're required by DEP to have a blaster's license. So if they don't have, if these individuals who are purchasing these various sizes of dynamite don't have a blaster's license, they should not possess them, let alone be able to purchase them. So I think it would be in best interest of not only Hazleton City and Wilkes-Barre, but also for the district attorney's office and the law enforcement to explore going after these vendors who sell these explosives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rabo. Anybody else for public comment in the audience? Anybody on the Zoom? Oh, I apologize.
Joe Grantee, Plains. I'd like to ask some questions about the $3 million of home repair money that has been applied for, and it's being people are being selected to get some of that. I'm wondering how that was advertised, because if it wasn't in the newspaper, a lot of people didn't have access to that information. Now, I've heard advertisements over the last couple of days that it was on the website, right? And not everybody is comfortable on the website, and they don't spend their day looking at the website for information. So I'm wondering if any of that money or any of those advertisements were made on television or newspaper.
It was reported in the newspaper.
Was it a story, or was it actual?
Ms. Corporal, do you have the answer to that?
I don't know if there was a particular advertisement that was purchased for the newspaper. It wasn't on there was nothing on television. I can find out if there was anything listed. I'll find out.
Because I went down today and I thought I could fill an application out and found out that it was closed. And
It was on paper. I think I remember reading it. Besides the story.
after the fact or before,
Oh, no, well before the application.
because I read about it after the fact online, that it was closed. So, I'm just wondering if, I know people in my family who use the newspaper for their information. And they could really use that money. They could use I have an 87-year-old aunt who pays 6 sewer bills, lives alone, and doesn't rent out the other part of the building, pays 6 sewer bills and could use the help. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the minimum $5 million for ARP money that's supposed to go to qualified applicants. Where does that stand right now and how much is available?
Well, council allocated $5 million, at least $5 million.
It was supposed to be a minimum of $5
A
million.
minimum of 5 million. So we have 5 million on the books. I mean, obviously, if council wants to increase that, that's up to council. Right now, what we need to do is get the data of the individuals that would qualify under the federal poverty guidelines and the ARPA requirements. We do not necessarily have that data in the county. Cities do. Cities have housing authorities and they have programs for elderly people, which already qualifies people. We don't have that data. So in order to have a stipend to be distributed, we have to get that data. And I'm working on how to get that data. And once we get that information, then we would have to have requirements and a plan that we would bring to council, and they could choose if they want to go that route in giving individuals a monetary stipend, or do another plan, for example, heating and utility assistance. So I have targeted the meeting on the 25th. The council will have an option, and then they can choose.
Is there an outline of what the qualifications are or the guidelines? I mean, are we just going to give it to anybody who doesn't have a job or?
Well, that would, the requirements would have to be voted upon by council. I would present a package. I would imagine that they have to meet certain federal poverty guidelines. It could be people who are unemployed. It could be families of 8 and they only make a certain amount of income. But we have to get that information. We don't have that data in the county readily available. So we would have to access that information somehow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Anybody on the Zoom?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. You guys want to just go right into the work session?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
It is 6:35. Call the work session to order. We already had the pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. Roll call, please, Ms. Lawrence.
Mr. Venus,
Present.
Mr. LaScavitch.
Here.
Ms. McDermott. Here. Mr. McGinley,
Present.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Perry.
Here.
Ms. Vogt. Mr. Thornton.
Here.
Mr. Urban.
Here.
Mr. Lovich.
Here.
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
10 of 11.
All right, any additions or deletions from the work session
Motion to
agenda?
approve the agenda with the one deletion.
With the deletion of number 3?
Correct.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is adopted. Steve, discuss division reports.
Council has a division reports. If there's any questions, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I do want to make an announcement. I informed council earlier today that under the helpful hand of Michelle Sparridge, our grant writer, booth management approved the Wyoming Valley Airport as projects that will fall under the ARPA grants and guidelines. We will have a resolution for council at the January 25th meeting.
January?
July 25th. I'm getting a little bit like Vice Chair Lombardo. Pages. And then finally, I just, if you want some satisfaction on Friday, Rock in the River will begin at 6 o'clock. I have been assured that we're going to have beautiful weather. We're going to have wonderful food and drink and good friends. And I believe we're going to have a British invasion and their Rolling Stones man. And I hope everybody comes and attends and has a good time.
All right. Discussion regarding resolution to renew the lease with Valley Aviation Incorporated for the Wilkes-Barre Wyoming Valley Airport and provision of fixed base operator services.
Mr. Kurtz, you want to come to the podium?
Yes, this is a lease that was previously $12,000 a year, and it is now $18,000 a year. So there's not an increase in the fuel surcharge. The county gets 10 cents per gallon of any fuel that's sold to aircraft at that airport. And with this updated lease, it will be 11 cents. So a little increase there as well. Just any other?
Go ahead.
Just an observation, I was reviewing this a few minutes ago. And in our package, page 26, it is the work session items. The lease agreement, I think it's just a misprint.
There's a revised one with alongside the
Right.
updated one.
Oh, okay, so this 80,000 a month is
That
no,
agenda submittal is
Right.
not valid. There's a new
so
one.
that's not good. Okay,
Sorry.
and then, so this one over here is a little bit different, I think, than the other one. Where the other one had, where is it? Different, slightly different figure. Forget where I had that. There it is.
So at year one, 23 to 24, it's $18,000 a year. That goes the same for the following year up to 2025. In 2025 to 26, it goes, I'll know that the year is July 1st to June 30th.
Yeah,
Is
just,
that because we're starting in
pointing
July,
out.
right?
Yeah, I just point out, Mr. Kurtz, the one page has the final fifth year at 22,000 a year.
Right, yes.
So is it that, or is it the 20,000?
No, it's 22.
It is.
That will be the final year.
So this resolution would, okay, be adjusted. I'm gonna write it with my pen, 22,000 a year, not
For
a
the
month,
final.
not a year. Okay. And that would be 27 to 28, right? 7,
Yes.
July 27 to July 28. Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions on that?
It's reviewed by the legal office.
Yes. Yeah, the legal actually did the negotiations with the airport.
Has somebody been able to research that and see what the normal rates are with fixed base operators operating that kind of an airport?
Defer to Attorney Skeen for that.
Yeah, we negotiated with the airport. And that's why the rates had gone up a little bit. It's not as easy as, we had a consultant come in and discuss improvements to the airport and fees and all that. And all the airports are very different, depending on the region, who's coming in and out of them, how long the runways are, so which planes will be able to land.
Condition of the hangars.
Condition of the hangars. So that amount is the amount the parties came to agree. for what we would be able to charge, what they would be able to afford based on their track record. And they've been a very good tenant. They've been repairing some of the things there that under the original lease, well, for instance, the original lease from a long time ago looked like it was bought in store and people just filled in and crossed things out. Since then, there were at least 5 addendums to it. So we wanted to consolidate it into one contract. At one time, I presume when we had a lot more employees here, we used to cut the grass. We just ran out of it, we weren't able to cut the grass, and they picked up that because the grass had a contract. So over the years, they were very good and worked with us. And we were trying to work with them, and that was an amount that all parties felt would be reasonable and have reasonable increases for the next 5 years.
You said you had a consultant come in?
There was a consultant that came in for other projects, but he was asked about.
Did he give you some kind of memo or written document of some sort?
No, it was in a meeting.
It was a verbal? I'm not opposed to the rental agreement. Seems like a reasonable one to be trying to work with. I think the gasoline side or the fuel side, I should say gasoline. I think possibly we should expect more from that than any increase.
I thought that was, does that go up also? Over the
Yes.
5 years?
Yeah, I saw one.
And then it goes up.
What's
Right, and then it would go up a minimum of 1% a year,
1 cent
1 cent per year,
per gallon.
up to the high of 15 or 14 for the whole period.
Find that. I really don't think it's
Gasoline goes up also each year.
Their fuel goes up by 100. You know,
I know, but
aviation fuel's a lot more.
right. So, in looking at that, I believe that there's not a high profit margin on gasoline. So they were giving us a lot of pushback getting up to the 14, 15 cents. Because of not knowing that, you know, they're only charging so much, so there's not much profit in that. But I think it adds up because they do provide a lot of planes.
I think if I may interject, I think the most important thing too, that property's been neglected for a lot of years. They've done a good job of trying to keep it to the point that it's at. But I think with a lot of work, hopefully in the next few years with this money they're gonna receive, the goal is to get all them old hangars down because most people would never even want to attempt to open the door in those. That's how bad they are. So once that project's taken care of, then hopefully the opportunity arises because they have a lot of people interested in leasing just the ground from us and building their own hangar. So we'll have no skin in the game as far as the buildings go. And then at that point, we could look at the lease further and, construct it in a form that they move out or whatever, we retain the buildings, it's on our property. So it's a kind of a stepping stone to get to that point. And I think we can get there, but it's gonna take a little doing.
If I could. Yeah, I just want to add, it was probably 5, 6 weeks ago where we went over there to walk around. I never really got a tour of the airport. And I was surprised that Dr. Scribola, who's still in his scrubs, came from his hospital or whatever. And he's one of the managing people of Valley Aviation. And the county here, Attorney Skeen touched on it. We dealt a huge break in recent years over there. Very expensive break that Dr. Scribola said he gets on this tractor and he cuts that entire 110 acres. And when it's growing with the rain, he's cutting it once a week. And he volunteers and he gets on that tractor himself. He's a active medical doctor working many long hours. And he has to get over there and he just cuts that entire airport, which is, you stand there and look around. It's, wow. So we've been dealt a good financial break that we haven't been cutting that. And they have taken care of that at no cost, which I was impressed that a doctor would do that.
I think the most important thing too is if you stop there and you talk to these people, they share a love for that airport.
Yeah.
They just don't only want to run it. They love what they do there.
I think that's the main reason why they continue doing this, because there's not really a lot of revenue in what they're doing.
No, and I don't think the 10 of them are gonna fall on our lap to run that place either. Yeah.
And I have to think, who's lined up behind them if they walked away and they're not doing it anymore?
Right.
Who's gonna?
It's hard to find a group like that.
The only one I know was Renilda.
Yeah. Yeah, helicopter pilot. I want to be a medevac pilot.
I'll help. I'll be the mechanic.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it. If it's anything like my driving.
Any other questions from Mr. Kurtz? All right, thank you very much. All right, number 3, well, it'll be 3. Yeah, discussion regarding ordinance amending the capital plan budget for Luzerne County.
I think that was a
I
suggestion.
submitted the information there because, as we know, our audit came back. It was a surplus of $2.76 million. We had a surplus last year. We took approximately $2 million and put it in the capital plan. So we would have funding in the capital plan. My recommendation would take 50%, 2.76, 1.38, and put it in the capital plan so there's money there. Because as we all know, our capital plan is sort of weak on the financial side as far as money. So since we were lucky enough to come through the audit and have that kind of surplus through the audit process, now's the time to make that adjustment and bring that money into it. So, capital.
Any questions? All right, discussion regarding the letters to Schuylkill and Carbon counties regarding, regarding the Hazleton public transit match. That's the handout.
Included the map and the ridership, but I think that's good. So,
Go ahead.
We have coffee sent to the representatives, state representatives down here, what you want, bro? And also send one to the, not sure who the senator. Senator Arnold. Make sure they get a copy.
They can certainly do that.
That senator covers all of Schuylkill and all of Carbon County.
I think so.
Yes.
Hazel.
And Hazel.
Right there. There's a typo on the first sentence of both of them where Hazleton is spelled correctly.
Hazel.
Yes.
Spice.
Yes. Other than that, everybody, any other questions? Good. All right. Good. Public comment? Rego?
Two things. One is, I'm sure you're all aware of the state budget, the status of the state budget as it is right now. And I know this is kind of a bit early to sound a warning, but I just want to make clear as a precautionary measure for council to consider and the manager to consider contingency plans in the case that the impasse is prolonged. I'm sure Mr. McGinley and Mr. Urban can attest to the long impasse that happened in 2015 that occurred under Governor Wolf's first term when council had an issue with the extent of the impasse affecting the county human services agencies at the time. So I would hope that the council can maybe, along with the county manager, can come up with a contingency plan in the event of a long budget impasse if it should be prolonged. That's the first item. The second is, I think what needs to happen with regards to the capital fund is any kind of future development, like when a developer comes for Alerta or any other exemption that the county's considering. I would ask that and I've checked with a few solicitors throughout the county, and they said they don't see anything wrong with it, that a payment in lieu of taxes as an advance for the LRTA is allowed, because there's nothing in the LRTA statute that prohibits, to ask for a pilot upfront for, in consideration of a LRTA. Or the other option is a TIF. And we all know what happens there. Sometimes there can be an extension, but at least you're getting money, some money up front or even down the road. You're not, going on a wing and a prayer, when it comes to these developments. So those two options are available to taxing bodies for replenishment of capital fund budgets. And I think that it would behoove the county to consider those two options moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rabel. Anybody else for public comment? Mr. Orban?
Just want to make a mention. I want to thank Matt Jones today for speaking with me regarding an issue over in Wyoming. I have a constituent, also a friend of mine, concerned with the proposed sheets being built over there. And this might be like another Copart where, it's empty land right now over there. I think Wyoming Borough is going full steam ahead on this particular project. We no longer do the zoning part of the development, but we do the land development plan. I think we approve it at the county level. I want to make mention to the newspapers, there is a meeting this Thursday at 2 p.m. here in council chambers for any of those interested residents to come out and say their piece, so we don't get surprised or bamboozled. I mean, I didn't know anything about it until my friend actually hit me up on social media and saying, and she's right there on the border, showing me pictures of the sticks in the ground painted. From what I'm hearing is that the driveway going into the new proposed sheets is going to be right next to her house. And, this is after her putting $80,000 in renovations into the home. And, like wondering what she can do. So I told her, come to the meeting on Thursday. And I can only recommend that to all the other residents that are going to be surrounding that property or adjacent to that property or but right up against it, because right now it's open space. I have questions as a council member, on how that's going to be for traffic. Knowing that she goes and does certain promotions that cause a lot of heavy traffic. Just recently with their gas promotion for $1.77, for pretty much every grade of gasoline, and cause traffic jams throughout the entire county. I mean, it was a great deal for their consumers and customers, but kind of dangerous for some roads. So, I think that's something we have to think about. How we plan for it in the future. Maybe we need to change the ordinance a little bit, but this is something I want to plant the seed now.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
I've met with Matt Jones.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him.
And George, great. Kurt,
We had a
we met
great
about.
conversation with him today. It was very helpful. As always, it was very detailed. So we're blessed to have him.
I drive by there every day. I think the whole property is zoned commercial, has been zoned commercial.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
And that house is right on the corner there. That's the lone house standing on the corner of that one.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess that's residential where the house is, I would imagine.
Right, going up 6th.
And then, behind the house going out a bit, but the whole other property on next to her house is zone commercial, right?
Yeah, if you look at, up the road, I think you go as far as 38, 6th, and then hook a left in the back yards of those people. I mean, there's houses behind that field, and then there's houses like they go around the next street over, which is maybe 5th or 7th. 7th the other way.
Yeah.
So, it is it's an open field right now, but there's houses to the left, to the right, to the rear.
It's interesting. I found a lot of times these established neighborhoods with houses, sometimes are actually built on commercial,
Yes.
industrial, light industrial land. like, which is what happened in West Pittston where we're from. And people don't even realize that they bought a house on commercial land, industrial. I don't know what the situation is there. I have no idea.
The last zoning maps they think are from a year ago because Wyoming Borough took over their own zoning last year in August. But we still haven't passed the
Land use.
land use.
Yeah.
And just, council will be receiving contingency plan from Human Services. Lynn Hill has already provided me one, and I will be forwarding to council.
Thank you.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Less than an hour. Almost 7 executive.